Hi, I'm Colin Wayman. My pronouns are they, them, and this is part 3 of what I'm proud of this Pride Month. Today, I want to talk about my body and my presentation, but before I do that, I have to talk a little bit about biological essentialism. It's every trans person's least favorite thing. If you're not familiar, it's the idea that your gender can actually be reduced essentially to your biology or your sexual, your sex identity. Now, first of all, the spectrum of sex identities is much wider than biological essentialism wants to believe. There are people with all different pairings of hormones and hormone sensitivities and chromosomes. It's not just the two that we are taught. There's a large spectrum. So first of all, it doesn't make sense on that front. Secondly, the very existence of trans people who present and are perceived and understood as women or men, even though they were born and assigned the other thing, sort of disproves this, right? Because if gender was determined by your biology, then everyone with the same biology would have the same gender. And that isn't true. So when someone looks at me and says, "How can you be a lesbian?" I think there's an underpinning there of, but you're not a woman and lesbian's a woman thing. It's true, I'm not a woman, but I am a lesbian because that social position, that romantic like affiliation, um, is not determined by your biology. It's determined by who you are and who you choose to be. So now I want to talk a little bit about what I have done with my body and my presentation to affirm my gender. I want to mostly, there's so much I could say, but I'm going to mostly talk about two things. One, HRT, and two, hair removal. So first, HRT. This is one of the most common things that trans people do to affirm their gender. Hormone replacement therapy. For someone like me who was assigned male at birth and has cis-normative levels of testosterone, that would be taking estrogen and perhaps, I think there's some testosterone reducers as well. There's different kind of variations you can go with depending on your age, when you're transitioning, your personal biology. I actually did try HRT for a couple weeks, not very long, but I found it almost instantly had a really negative effect on my psychology. I felt really dysphoric actually in ways that I never had and didn't expect to. And so I stopped. I found it was not affirming, so I didn't do it. And I leave it on the table as something I could explore in the future, but for now, it doesn't feel like an important part of affirming my identity because I'm not trying to transition from man to woman. I'm trying to just stand in my truth and be who I am. And so that's a way that maybe I'm a little different than some trans people because a lot of trans people find hormones very affirming. And maybe I will in the future too. I leave that possibility open. Right now, though, it's not part of my transition. It's not part of my goals for myself. It's not part of my lifestyle. But now we'll go on to the second thing, which has been very affirming and has been actually a huge part of my life for the last year and a half, which is hair removal. I find most of my body hair, the masculinizing dark coarse hairs, very dysphoric. I really don't like it. I never have. I remember when I started growing facial hair in my teens and I would start shaving that I noticed these little I was like, why don't they go away? There's these little black dots. They look so dirty and yucky. And then I learned that the hair grows out and you're not actually removing it. You're just shortening it. And I was like, that sucks because I don't like it. So when I did start transitioning and being around more trans femme people, that conversation about laser hair removal and electrolysis came up. And I was like, wait, why aren't I doing that? So I looked into it. And over the last year and a half, I've had most of my beard removed with laser. And I'm now in the process of getting electrolysis to remove the individual hairs that laser couldn't catch. And I'm also getting some other hair removed from abdomen, arms, back, places where this sort of masculinizing dark hair appears. It will probably be a multi-year process and in some ways never done because the body can just be like, actually, let's grow a little hair for no reason. But it's been so incredibly affirming for me. It softens my face to not have the little black stubble. I can go 5 or 6 days without shaving, and most people I think don't notice because most of the hairs that are left on my face are white. Here's a quick side note, for those that don't know, laser hair removal works by targeting pigmentation in the hair. So it's ideal for people who have dark hair and light skin. There's a little bit of medical racism baked into it because if you have melanated skin, the laser will have a harder time locating the follicle and you could end up injuring your skin. And there are some laser devices that are being made to overcome this, but it seems like a low concern for a lot of people because, well, it works for white people. So remember, these things are always intertwined, right? racism is everywhere and not actually that separate from gender oppression. I could go on about that. Anyway, so I just wanted to share these two things that were part of my journey and are ongoing, and let you know that for some trans people, hormones are the biggest part of their transition, and hair means nothing to them. And for me, it's the opposite. And that's okay. All these things are okay. I'm proud of the body that I've got. I'm proud of the way it's moved through the world and the company it's kept me my whole life and the resilience it has and the things it's endured. And I'm also proud of the ways that it's been able to change as my sense of myself has changed. And I'm proud of the things I'm doing to affirm myself. So, well, that's that. I'll see you next week.